Dava Nalalidaloka Tranaya Karuna Gana Ganatam Samsaradava Nalalidaloka Tranaya Karuna Gana Ganatam Praptasya Kalyanam Punanavasya Vande Garashi Charanaravrindam Praptasya Vande Garashi Charanaravrindam Vande Garashi Charanaravrindam Charanaravrindam Vande Garashi Charanaravrindam Mahaprabhu ki Tana Nitya Gita Vaditra Madhyam Manasura Sena Mahaprabhu ki Tana Nitya Gita Vaditra Madhyam Romanchakam Pasru Taranga Bhajo Vande Garashi Charanaravrindam Taranga Bhajo Shri Vigrahara Dana Nityanana Shringaratanma Niramajanado Juktasya Bhaktamsa Niyunjatapi Vande Gurashi Charanaravrindam Chaturvidhashi Bhagavat Prasada Satana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangam Chaturvidhashi Bhagavat Prasada Satana Triptan Kripaiva Triptin Bhajata Shadeva Vande Gurashi Charanaravrindam Shradikama Bhabayarapara Madhura Lila Gunarupanamna Shradikama Para Madhura Lila Gunarupanamna Pratikshana Dhanalalupasya Vande Gurashi Charanaravrindam Vande Gurashi Nekunjayuno Ratikeli Sidhai Jayali Bheri Yuktir Apekshaniya Nikunjayuno Ratikeli Sidhai Jayali Bheri Tatrati Daksha Atibalavasya Vande Gurashi Charanaravrindam Sakshadharidena Shamasta Shashe Ruktastathava Vyataiva Sarve Kintu Pravarja Priyaiva Tasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvrindam Vande Guru Shri Yasya Prasadam Bhagavar Prasadam Yasya Prasadam Nagati Kutapi Yasya Prasadam Sadam Yasya Prasadam Dayam Stubam Tasya Yasatri Sandhyam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvrindam Vande Guru Shri Vande Guru Shri Charanarvrindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvrindam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitina Mine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunavadi Pachatari Shatarine Namaste Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunavadi Pachatari Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hariyaraye Namah, Krishna Jadavaye Namah, Jadavaye Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah, Gopal Govindaram Shri Madhusudan, Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan, Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita, Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita, Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhattaraguna, Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasaraguna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Bo, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Shri Radha Nilamada Radha Nilamada Radhe, Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladev Jayo Subhadrama, Jayo Sudarshan Chakra. Jaya Sitaram, Jayo Sitaram, Sitaram, Jayo Lakshman Hanuman. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Pramanande, Haribo. Jai Vishnu Pakar Paramita Prabha Jakacharya Sutara Srimad Sriman Gay Sabhacharami Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Islam Pratishta Niriti Samsta Pakacharya Vaishnava Saramani Jai Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. Shri Guru Guru Varga Vidyudhar ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhakti Gunath Shri Gopal Bhakti Das Manasad Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ji ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrind ki jai. Prem se kaho se Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shraddha Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavrind ki jai. Jai Param Dayal Se Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Jai Pramanam Sankirtanika Janaka Prema Purushottama Si Sachinanda Nishman Gauranga Si Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Gaura Hari Mavanana Avatar ki jai. Golokera Pramadhana Harinam Sankirtan Jaga ki jai. Juga Dharma Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Brihapndanga Transcendental Book Distribution Seva ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopina Radha Kund Samakund Giriraj Govardhan ki jai. Shri Brajabim Vrindavan Mathurudam ki jai. The Lordship Shri Shri Radha Nilamadhava ki jai. Shri Shri Mayapur Navadvip Eka Chakradam ki jai. Paramakaruna Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Shri Purushottam Ketra Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Shri Shri Jagannath Swami Baladev Prabhu Smaspadra Devi Sudarshan Chakra Bhagavan ki jai. Bhakti Sarva Vigna Vinashana Kanu Shringare Bhagavan ki jai. Jaganga Mai Jamuna Mai ki jai. Tulsi Maharani Vrindi Devi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Jai Shri Mathura Dharani ki jai. Shamaveta Bhakta Vrindi ki jai. Nitai Gaurari Pramanandi Haribo. All glory to the assembly bodies. All glory to the assembly bodies. All glory to the assembly bodies. All glory to glory. Glory to Shri Shri Guru Shri Gauranga.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Pralada Lada Daine. Pralada Lada Daine. Hiranyakasipurvakshah. Shilatankanakalaye. Ito Narsingha Parato Narsingha. Jato jato jami tato Narsingha. Bye. तव कर कमलवरे नखा अद्भुत शृङ्गार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरहरि जय नरहरि नरहरि जय नरहरि जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद श्रील प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल नृसिंहदेव भगवान की जय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय
Krishna preyasi namo namaha. Namo namaha tulasi Krishna preyasi namo namaha. Radha Krishna seva pavo ei abhilashi. Radha Krishna seva pavo ei abhilashi. जे तुम्हारा शरण लो तारा वंचा पूरा न हो. कृपा कोरी कोरो तारे वृंदावन वासी. मोराए अभिलाष विलास कुंजे दियो वास. नयने हरिबो सदा जुगल रूपरासी. एई निवेदना धारो साखीर अनुगाता कोरो. सेवा अधिकारा दिए कोरो निज दासी. दीना कृष्णा दासे कोई ये न मोरा होए. श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा ये न भासी. श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा ये न भासी. यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माहत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणाशन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे. यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माहत्याधिकानि च तानि तानि प्रनाशन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माहत्याधिकानि च तानि तानि प्रनाशन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जया तुलसी महारानी जया तुलसी महारानी जया तुलसी महारानी जया तुलसी महारानी जया वृंदा देवी जया वृंदा देवी जया वृंदा देवी जया वृंदा देवी नित्याय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्याय गौरा हरि बोल नित्याय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्याय गौरा हरि बोल। श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी वृंदा देवी की जय।
Beloved Krishna, I bow before you again and again. My desire to return the services to Shri Radha and Krishna. I will take shelter of his wishes fulfilled. Bestow myself on him, he make it resident of Vrindavan. My desire that also give me a residence of pleasure grows, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Thus within my vision of all the beautiful Last time, Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me a follower Dancers of Christ. Please give me the privilege of devotional service and make me your own maid servant. This very fallen and lowly servant Krishna praise. May I always sing love, Shri Radha and Govind, Shri Mati Tulsi Maharani Brindi Devi Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sikhastakam Ki Jai. Chaito Darpanam Marjanam Bhava Mahada Bhagni Vapanam Shri Akari Vachandrika Taranam Vidya Badhu Jivanam Ananda Mudivadhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Shadanam Sarvatmasnam Parampara Vijayati Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Baudha Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Pita Niyamita Shmarane Nakala Ita Dusitava Kripaya Bhagavan Mamapi Durdhaivam Idrisham Yajani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Saishnuna Amanina Manadina Kirtaniya Sarahari Nadanam Nadanam Sundarim Savitamba Jagarisha Kamayi Mama Janmane Janmaneshwari Bhavatar Bhakti Rahaitu Kitwai Oinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Paritamam Bisame Bhavam Buddho Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Stitaduli Sadrisham Vichintaya Nayanam Galarashrudharaya Vadanam Gadu Gadarudaya Gira Pulakari Chitam Bapukada Tavanama Grahane Bhavisati Juga Itam Nimishena Chakusha Pravrusa Itam Shunya Itam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahename Aslishtavapa Daratam Pinashtumam Adarshanar Marmahatam Karotuva Jata Tathava Vidadatu Lampato Matprana Tastu Saivana Para Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sikhastakam Ki Jai Namo Mahavarannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gaura Tvishe Glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan moment is the primary benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully test the nectar for which we're always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. They are not hard and fast rule for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness we enable us to easily approach you by holy names, but I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. Once we chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself Lord on a stony street, one should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your cause of devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet some or other I've fallen in this ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the lotus feet. O my Lord, and will my eyes will be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name, and will my voice choke up, I will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I feel all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he should remain so. Even if he sandals me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me, he is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditioned. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shri Krishna Kam Ki Jai. There are 10 offenses in matter of chanting the holy name of the Lord that should be avoided. They are as follows. 1. To blaspheme to the devotees who dedicate their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the names of demigods, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literatures or literatures and pursuits of Vedic version. 5. To consider the glory of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation of the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name of the Lord. 8. To consider the chanting Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are often veiled as a fruitive activity, karma kanda. 9. To instruct the fullest person about the glories of the holy name. And 10. To not have complete faith in chanting the holy names and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It also an offense to be innocent while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must carefully guard against 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prem. Now let us offer our most humble obeisance unto all the Vaishnavas to worship the Lord. They are just like desired trees, they can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of
Hamsa Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Purvani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskatya Disatarine Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namane Shivasavanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Namaha Madhur Ujjvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhakti Da Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namastate Namaste Sanvani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudapa Apasiddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Suraya Sarvajagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padam Pudayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchitanandanamine Guru Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Guru Virbhava Bhumistvam Nirdesta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhuma Sri Jagannatayate Namaha Kalpatarabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namne Guru Chuse Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakam Namami Bhaktasaktikam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Suratur Pangur Mama Mandar Mater Gati Matsarvasva Padambujo Radha Madana Mohano Divyadvindaranya Kalpadrumadaha Shimad Ratnakara Simhasanastito Shimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prasthana Vihi Sevyamana Smarami Shiman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsivatas Latastita Karsan Venus Swaner Golpir Gopinatak Striyestuna Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Guru Pranama prayers ki jai. Shri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Prakadasatma Sukalpa Vriksha Laksa Vrite Susurabir Abhipaliyantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam Brahma Sevyamanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Kvanantam Aravinda Dalayataksham Barhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Sobam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandra Kalasadvanamalya Vamsi Ratnam Gadam Pranayakeli Kalavilasam Shamam Tribanga Lalita Niyata Prakasam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Pasyanti Panti Kalyanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadujvala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vede Sudurlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Pantastu Koti Satavatsada Sampragamyo Vayoratapi Manaso Munipungamanam Sopyasti Yad Prapadasimya Vichintya Tatve Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ekop Yasora Chayatum Jagadanda Kotim Yas Chakti Mananda Narmanu Chayantarastam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yat Bhava Bhavita Diyo Manajasta Taiva Sampapya Rupa Mahima Sanayana Bhusa Suktar Yameva Nikama Pratitaistuvanti Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasat Pratibhavitabhis Tabirya Eva Nijarupa Taya Kalabi Goloka Eva Nivasata Kilatma Bhuto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santaksa Deva Hidayesu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murti Sukala Niyamena Tistan Nana Avataram Akarod Bhuvanesa Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramam Pumam Yo Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagaranda Koti Kotisvasesa Vasudadi Vibhuti Vinam Tad Brahma Niskalam Anantam Ashesa Bhutam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Mayahi Yasya Jagadanda Satani Sute Trigunya Tad Vishaya Veda Vitayamanam Sattva Valambi Parasatvam Visuddha Sattvam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasat Mataya Manasu Ya Praninam Patifulam Smaratam Upetya Leelaya Tena Bhuvanani Jaya Jasram Govindam Adi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Golokanamni Nijatamni Tale Chatasya Devi Mahesu Haridama Sute Sutesu Te Te Prabhava Nichaya Vitaschayena Govindam Adi Purusam Tamaham Bhajami Shastistati Pralaya Sadhava Saktireka Chayeva Yasya Bhulani Vibharti Durga Ichanurupam Abhyasya Chachestate Sa Govindam Adi Purusam Tamaham Bhajami Shiram Yata Dadi Vikara Visesa Yoga Sanjayate Nahitata Pritakasti Hetu Yasambhutam Apitata Samapaitikar Govindam Adi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Parchad Eva Hita Santaram Abhyupetya Dipaya Tevi Vita Hetu Samanu Dharma Yastadrik Eva Hicha Vishnu Taya Vibhati Govindam Adi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yakarna Narna Vajale Pajatis Mayoga Nidram Mananta Jagadanda Saruma Kupa Adhara Shaktim Avalambya Param Swamurtim Govindam Adi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yasyaika Nisvasita Kalamatavalambya Jivanti Loma Villaja Jagadanda Nata Vishnur Mahansahi Yasya Kalaviseso Govindam Adi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Baswanya Tasma Sakalesuni Jesuteja Sriyam Kiyat Prakatayat Apitat Vadatra Brahmaya Isa Jagadanda Vidana Karta Govindam Adi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yat Pada Palava Yugam Vinidaya Kumbha Dvande Pranama Samayesa Ganadi Raja Vignan Vihanta Malamasya Jagatrayasya Govindam Adi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Agnir Mahiga Ganamabumurut Jasya Kalasta Tatma Manasiti Jagatrayani Yasmad Bhavanti Vibhavanti Visanti Yancha Govindam Adi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yas Chaksuresa Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samasta Suramurti Rasesa Teja Yasya Gaya Brahmati Sambrita Kala Chakro Govindam Adi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Dharmo Tapapa Nichaya Srutayastapamsi Brahma Dikita Patakava Dayasya Jiva Yadata Matra Vibhava Prakata Prabhava Govindam Adi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yaschindra Gopa Matavendra Mahosva Karma Bandhan Rupa Falabhajana Matanoti Karmani Nirdahati Kintu Chabakti Bhajam Govindam Adi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yad Krodha Kama Sahaja Pranayadi Bhiti Vatsalya Moha Guru Gaurava Vasavya Bhavai Sanchintya Tasya Sadrisim Tanamapurete Govindam Adi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Shriyakanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Trumabhumish Chintamani Ganam Ayitoyam Amritam Kataganam Nadyam Kamanam Apivam Sipriyasaki Chidanandam Jyoti Param Apitat Aswadyam Apicha Sayatra Shiradi Bhishravati Shirabi Vyashta Sumahan Nimesar Dakyuva Rajati Nahiyatra Bisamaya Bhaje Switadvipam Tamaham Iha Golakam Ityam Yudantas Te Santakshiti Virachara Katipaye Ishwara Paramakrishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Shri Brahma Samhita Ki Jai Shri Guru Pranam Guru Astaka prayers Ki Jai. The spiritual master is receiving benediction from the ocean of mercy. Just as a cloud pours water on the forest fire to extinguish it, so the spiritual master delivers the materially afflicted world by extinguishing the blazing fire of material existence. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master who is an ocean of auspicious qualities, chanting the holy name, dancing in ecstasy, singing and playing musical instruments. The spiritual master is always gladdened by the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he's relishing the mellows of pure devotion within his mind. Sometimes his hair stands on end. He feels quivering in his body, and tears flow from his eyes like waves. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. The spiritual master is always engaged in the temple worship of Sri Radha and Krishna. He also engages his disciples in such worship. They dress the deities in beautiful clothes and ornaments, clean their temple, and perform other similar worship of the Lord. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. The spiritual master is always always offering Krishna 4 kinds of delicious food, analyzes that which is licked, chewed, drunk, and sucked. When the spiritual master sees that the devotees are satisfied by eating Bhagavad Prasada, he is satisfied. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. The spiritual master is always eager to hear and chant about the unlimited conjugal pastimes of Radhika and Madhava and their qualities, names, and forms. The spiritual master aspires to relish these at every moment. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. The spiritual master is very dear because he is expert at assisting the gopis who at different times make different tasteful arrangements for the perfection of Radha and Krishna's conjugal loving affairs within the groves of Vrindavana. I offer my most humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. The spiritual master is to be honored as much as the Supreme Lord because he is the most confidential servant of the Lord. This is acknowledged in all revealed scriptures and followed by all authorities. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisance unto the lotus feet as such a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Sri Hare Krishna. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Therefore, I should always remember and praise the spiritual master at least 3 times a day. I should offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, verse number 42. Sa evadam jagadata Bhagavan Dharma Rupa Drik Pushnati Stapayam Vishwam Tiryan Nara Suradibihi. Sa, he, eva, certainly, idam, this, Jagat Data, the maintainer of the entire universe, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Dharma Rupa Drik, assuming the form of religious principles, Pushnati, maintains, Stapayan, after establishing, Vishvam, the universes, Tiryak, living entities lower than the human beings, Nara, the human beings, Sura Adibihi, by the demigodly incarnations. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. He, the personality of Godhead, as the maintainer of all in the universe, appears in different incarnations after establishing the creation, and thus he reclaims all kinds of conditioned souls amongst the humans, the non-humans, and the demigods. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, incarnates himself in different societies of living entities to reclaim them from the clutches of illusion, and such activities of the Lord are not limited only to human being, a society. He incarnates himself even as a fish, hog, tree, and many other forms, but less intelligent persons who have no knowledge of him deride him, even if he is in a human society, as a human being. The Lord, therefore, says in the Bhagavad Gita 9.11, Avajananti mamudha manasim tanam asritaha param bhavam ajananto mamayavayam mama bhuta maheshvara. As we have already discussed in the previous verses, it is concluded that the Lord is never a product of the material creation. His transcendental position is always unchanged. He is the eternal form of knowledge and bliss, and he executes his almighty will by his different energies. As such, he is never the subject of reactions for any of his acts. He is transcendental to all such conceptions of actions and reactions. Even if he is visible in the material world, the exhibition is only of his internal energy, for he is above good and bad conceptions of this material world. In the material world, the fish or the hog may be considered lower than the man, but when the Lord appears as a fish or hog, he is neither of them in the material conception. It is his causeless mercy that he appears in every society or species of life, but he is never to be considered one of them. Conceptions of the material world, such as good and bad, lower and upper, important and insignificant, are estimations of the material energy, and the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all such conceptions. The words parambhavam, or transcendental nature, can never be compared to the material conception. We should not forget that the potencies of the Almighty Lord are always the same and do not decrease because the Lord assumes the form of a lower animal. There is no difference between Lord Sri Rama and Lord Sri Krishna and his incarnations as a fish and hog. He is all-pervading and simultaneously localized at any and every place. But the foolish person with a poor fund of knowledge, for want of that parambhavam of the Lord, cannot understand how the Supreme Lord can take the form of a man or a fish. One compares everything to one's own standard of knowledge, as the frog in the well considers the sea to be like the well. The frog in the well cannot even think of the sea, and when such a frog is informed of the greatness of the sea, it takes the conception of the sea as being a little greater than the well. As such, one who is foolish about the transcendental science of the Lord will find it difficult to understand how Lord Vishnu can equally manifest himself in every society of living entities. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. He, the personality of Godhead, as the maintainer of all in the universe, appears in different incarnations after establishing the creation, and thus he reclaims all kinds of conditioned souls amongst the humans, the non-humans, and the demigods. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Well, this is impossible to understand from a materialistic point of view. That's why it's important to understand the material conception of life as opposed to the transcendental conception of life. One is material, the other is spiritual. And almost everyone is suffering from the material conception of life. That is the all-present virus or disease in society today. And because of the material conception of life, which is taught in schools, which is in movies, which is in books, which is on the internet, which is everywhere, it's almost impossible for, or virtually impossible for people to understand Krishna consciousness. So, does that mean it's hopeless? No, because Prabhupada is explaining in depth what is the material conception of life, and at the same time he's explaining in depth what is the Krishna consciousness conception of life. So nowhere else is it so clearly delineated as in Prabhupada's books, and we should take full advantage of Prabhupada's books and the classes in order to stamp out completely the material conception of life. So what is this material conception of life? Let's go over it a little bit, because he talks about it in his purport. He says, the words parambhavam, or transcendental nature, can never be compared to the material conception. There it is right there. So we are interested in parambhavam, the transcendental nature of the spiritual world, as opposed to the material conception of life. So in a lecture in Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, 31st verse, in London, in July 24th, 1973, Prabhupada says, everyone is trying to become happy with society, friendship, and love, children, wife, friends, money, and houses and land. This is the conception, this is the material conception of life. So Arjuna is thinking in material concept of life. He is not thinking that my ultimate good is to satisfy Krishna. This is the Bhagavad Gita's purport. That is, Krishna consciousness. One has to change to satisfy Krishna, not to satisfy himself or the family or the society or the nation. No. Whether Krishna is satisfied, that is the criterion. That is the ultimate good. Kasmin tuste jagat tustam. If Krishna is satisfied, then other things will be automatically satisfied. But they do not know, meaning people don't know this. They are thinking that I can bring Krishna in the midst of my family, provided Krishna helps me to enjoy this material life. So in other words, they want Krishna to be the order supplier for their material life, and then he'll worship Krishna. And if Krishna doesn't comply to his demand, then he'll kick out Krishna and put in Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or anybody who's going to satisfy his material desires. You see, so previously people were going to Balaji to get their material desires, and then because of Bollywood, now they're going to Sai Baba, Sridi Sai Baba, or Satya Sai, to get their material desires. And if they don't get satisfied there, then they go to Microsoft or Amazon or anywhere where they can satisfy their material desires. So that is the material conception of life. People want to have sense gratification, and instead of the Krishna conception of life, they are completely bewildered by the material conception of life. So Prabhupada also says in a lecture on the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita as it is, on November 23rd, 1968, in the gross material concept of life, we are under the impression that I am this body. Therefore, we are concerned with the senses. If our senses are gratified, we think we are now satisfied. So this is the gross type of existence. I mean to say, existence of ignorance, illusion, maya. When one is under the thought that I am this is illusion. In other words, identify with the body or with something material. This is illusion. Illusion means you accept something. Something is presented as reality, and you accept it. Just like the example is given, water in the desert. It's actually a mirage. There is no water. But an animal is hankering after water, and it's running after water in the desert. That is practical. That due to sunshine, there's a reflection. It appears in the desert. Sometimes you might have seen, not here, in India, we have seen several times, that exactly there is a vast water, and it is reflecting. It's an optical illusion, right? That is called mirage. And then also in the lecture on the Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, 13th and 14th verse, in London, July 14, 1973, Prabhupada says, Jiva Bhuta, we jivas, we are all Prakriti. Purusha is only Krishna. So Prakriti means what is enjoyed, or the material nature. And Purusha means the real enjoyer, and that's Krishna. We are only a secondary enjoyer. So it says here, we jivas, we are all Prakriti, part of the energy of the Lord that's being enjoyed by the Lord. And Purusha is only Krishna. All living, he's the only real enjoyer. All living entities, Vishnu Tattva is Purusha Tattva. And we are Shakti Tattva, Shakti, energy, marginal energy of Krishna. So energy is Prakriti. The Prakriti is not Purusha. So Mayavada philosophy is wrong. They pose themselves as Soham. Soham, I am the same. how you can be the same. In the Shastra it is said that you living entities, you are Prakriti. How you can become same as Krishna? Are you Purusha? This is a mistake. How a woman can become a man, artificially one can become. Here also, so-called women, they are also Purushas. They are thinking, Purusha. Purusha means enjoyer. Here women is also thinking to enjoy. And the so-called man is also thinking to enjoy. Everyone, nobody wants to serve. Everyone wants to be served. Purusha attitude. Everyone wants to be served. Nobody wants to serve. This is the material conception of life. Well, there it is. Very, very nicely presented by Prabhupada. Everyone wants to be Prabhu. They don't want to be Das. So when we call someone else Prabhu, it means we're accepting that they are we want to serve them, right? And so we accept the position of Das if we call someone else Prabhu, right? And we should be servants of everyone. But actually, everyone wants to be Prabhu, and everyone else should be their Das. See? And it doesn't matter whether they're a man or a woman in modern times. The women also want to be Prabhu, and the men also want to be Prabhu, the enjoyer. But we are all Das. We are all the servant of Krishna. And, like for example, when you go out on the food truck, you're serving the public, right? You're not trying to enjoy anyone. You're actually trying to give happiness in the form of Mahaprasadam to the people coming to the food truck. So you're serving them. So that is our real position. Our position is to always be Das, always be a servant. But the material conception of life is, I want to be Purusha. I want to be the enjoyer. Right? So I'll enjoy my family, I'll enjoy my race, I'll enjoy my ethnicity, I'll enjoy my country, I'll enjoy the universe, I'll enjoy everything. And because of that, we remain in the material conception of life. Okay, so then, and also Prabhupada writes in the lecture on Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 1st verse, in Ahmedabad, December 6, 1972. Beginning from this Indra Gopa, which is a one-celled amoeba, up to the king of heaven, Indra, everyone is subjected to enjoy or suffer the resultant action of his karma. By karma, by the resultant action of karma, one has become the king of heaven, and by karma, resultant action of karma, one has become the microbic insect. So you can go from Indra down to Indragopa, the one-celled amoeba, and then you can go back up again to Indra. But we will always be in the material world, subject to birth, death, old age, and disease. This is the material world. There are 8,400,000 types or forms of this material body, and we are wandering sarvagata in different planets, in different forms. This is material world, and in the material world, whatever form we may have, we have got attachment for this body. Not only is the material in the material world, and this is material world, and in the material world, whatever form we may have, we have got attachment for this body. Not only attachment, we are under the impression that I am this body. Everyone. That is the material conception of life. So, in this purport, it's saying that conceptions of the material world, such as good and bad, lower and upper, important and insignificant, are estimations of the material energy, and the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all such conceptions. So Every day people are saying, oh, this is very good. And then they'll say, oh, but this is very bad. So every day they're going back and forth, good and bad, good and bad, good and bad. But Prabhupada says everything is bad in the material world. Even the good things are bad. So he's being challenged by his devotees in a morning walk discussion, January 9th, 1974. And the devotee says to Prabhupada, your lecture this morning was brilliant, Srila Prabhupada. Your logic could defeat anybody. Prabhupada chuckles, he laughs. The theological rascals, though, they will not accept any authority except their own mind. They are such nonsense. Prabhupada. That is called manodharmi. In Sanskrit, it is called manodharmi, mental speculators. Disciple. It's a disease, actually, Prabhupada. And therefore, mental speculators, they have been condemned. Manoratana sati dhavato bayi. Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th chapter, 8th verse, 5th canto, 18th chapter, 12th verse. Because they carry on, or they are carried by the chariot of the mind. Manoratana asati. Manorata. When you drive on the chariot of the mind, you cannot get any fixed idea. Because mind is flickering. Sankalpa, vikalpa. Mind's business is accept this and again reject it. So all these speculators are doing like this. Somebody is putting forward some theory, and after some years, he will himself reject, or somebody else will reject it. So manoratena, by mental speculation, you remain on a material platform. You cannot get any spiritual idea. Therefore, harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna. Anyone who is not in the spiritual platform means to be a devotee of the Lord. The Mayavadis, because they are not devotees of the Lord, they are not on the spiritual platform. They are on the mental platform. They are speculating spirits. Sometimes negation of matter, that's all. That is mental speculation. It is bad. Good means negation of bad. They are thinking like that. They do not know in this world, in this material world, bad and good are both the same thing. Because it is matter. They do not know this. They think this is bad, this is good. But they do not know. Materially conceived anything, good or bad, they are the same thing. That they do not know. This is a brilliant statement by Prabhupada that is shocking. And then he quotes Shastra. Daivate Bhadra Jnana Sabha Manodharma E Bala E Manda E Sabha Brahma. Dvaita means this external energy of Krishna. There this is infected. So this is a famous verse that this duality of good and bad, and it's actually based on the faulty mind. And someone says, "Oh, this is good," "Oh, this is bad," but they are both bad, right? Okay. Now, the disciple says, "How is bad and good the same thing?" There, everything is and he says, Srila Prabhupada, how is good and bad the same thing? Prabhupada, just like we are walking on the street, sometimes we say, this is very good, and sometimes we say, it is very bad. But the street is the same. So how is it good and bad? This is simply mental speculation. Disciple, sense perception? Prabhupada. Mental speculation. When it is dry, so dryness also sometimes it is, oh, it is very dry, bad. And again, someone says, oh, today it is very good. It is simply mental. In other words, the same thing can be said to be dry or wet. And one person will say, oh, it's very good that it's dry. And another person, well, it's very good that it's wet. Now he's going to become more specific. Devotee, it is like wet stool and dry stool. Is it still stool? Prabhupada, yes. Yes, that is the example. The dry part of the stool, they say, oh, this part is very nice. He forgets that after all, it is stool. So what is the dry or moist? Just like they are making scientific advancement. But the death is there. So what is the use of your advancement or no advancement? One who has not advanced in science, he'll also die, and you'll also die, advanced. Then what is the good? You cannot protect yourself from death. Then what is the meaning of this is good, this is good, this is advancement, and this is not advancement? Devotee Swarup Damodar. But the distinction, the good and bad, Prabhupada, that is your distinction. You have made such distinction. Swarup Damodar Maharaj. I think that depends on the consciousness of the individual. Prabhupada. Relativity, law of relativity. What is food for one is death for other. The same thing. So how you can say the food is good or bad? It is not. It is not. Is it not so? That's what he means. One man's food, another man's poison. So how you can distinguish this is food or poison? One man will say, no, it is food. Another man will say, it is poison. So how you'll distinguish? How will you extinguish? So this good and bad is simply mental speculation, because it is in the material platform. There is nothing good. Everything is bad. Otherwise, why Krishna says, Sarva Dharmam Prityaja, Bhagavad Gita 1866. In the name of Dharma, so much rascaldom is going on. Therefore, Krishna says, Sarva Dharmam Prityaja. It is not Dharma. And Bhagavata says, Dharmam Projita Kaitavotra. First canto, first chapter, second verse. This cheating type of religious system is rejected from Srimad Bhagavatam. All so-called religions, they're simply cheating. Dharma projita, kaitava. Kaitava means cheating. Everything is cheating. They say we are kaitava. Kaitava means cheating. Everything is cheating. They say we are advancing. What or how are you advancing? The problem, birth and death, is still there. So what is the meaning of your advancement? Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, second verse. Devotee, this is the only means then to get off that manoratha, that vehicle of the mind. Prabhupada, manoratena, yes. Manoratena means if you remain on that platform, then you have to reject again. Just like they are doing. The so-called scientists, philosophers, they are putting forward some theory, and after some time they reject it. So if you remain on the mental platform, then this business of accepting and rejecting will go on. You will never come to a conclusion. Therefore, one has to rise to the spiritual platform. That is nitya, sasvato yam, nahanyate hanyamane sarire. Second chapter, Bhagavad Gita, 20th verse. That's eternally liberated. That is eternal, everlasting. Devotee, not a theory? Prabhupada, no. Devotee, they just constantly speculate on the material nature. Prabhupada, what? They speculate on the material nature. Prabhupada, yes. Devotee, and they can never be spiritual. Prabhupada, no. Devotee, just always material. Prabhupada, number of zeros never makes one. It is zero. You add thousands of zeros, one after another, the value will be zero, not one. Devotee, but there is a theory, Srila Prabhupada, not theory, it's a fact, that if some number is raised to the power 0, that becomes 1 in mathematics. Prabhupada, that's all right, but I am speaking that you combine millions of zeros, that will never become one. That I am speaking. 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 equal to 0. 0 minus 0 equal to 0. 0 multiplied 0, 0, 0. Divided by 0, 0. That's all. Where you get the idea that it's something. And by the side of 0, if you bring 1, Eko Brahma, immediately it will become 10. And add another 0, immediately 100. 10 times increased. That one must be there. One God. Then 0 becomes value. Then 0 increases in value. Similarly, this material world is 0, but if there is Krishna consciousness, then it is valuable. Then it is valuable. Devotee. But that Manoratena, the chariot of the mind, that is never valuable? Prabhupada, no. It has no value. Devotee. But the whole Western, Prabhupada, Manoratena asati dhavato bahi. By mental speculation, you will remain in this asati. You will remain in this non-eternal world, in this temporary field. Asat means which will not exist. Anything in this material world you take, that will not exist. Anywhere man can say, the skyscraper building is constructed, but everyone knows that it will not exist. Someday it will fall down. Everyone knows it will never exist. That is explained by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, that if you think that by combination of matter life has come, so life was not there before the combination, and this combination will dismantle. So life, there will be no more life. So why these 3 periods you are lamenting? There is life, because according to this theory, the combination of matter makes life. So before combination, there was no life, and the combination dismantled. There is no life. So beginning and end, no life. Why you are lamenting in the middle? Very good reasoning. Just see. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj says, Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimudan. Srimad Bhagavatam 7:943. Maya Sukhaya, that illusory happiness. Maya Sukhaya. And for that reason, they are making huge, gorgeous arrangement and working day and night, which will become 0. It has begun from 0 and it will end into 0. In the middle, they are busy, just see. Therefore, Vimudan, they are fools. So, this is a very powerful discussion that's going on. I've been on morning walks with Srila Prabhupada also. Every time he says amazing things, and it completely deconstructs all the false concepts that we've developed in our mind based on the material conception of life. And he does it in such with such ease, to destroy these monumental points that everyone believes in. And all of a sudden, he's destroying it, and trying to help us overcome these misconceptions. Devotee, in your books you say that the world is like a dream. Prabhupada, yes, it is dream. Devotee, how is it a dream? Prabhupada, dream, just like last night you had some dream. Devotee, yes. Prabhupada, well, it has no value. It is gone. And again, this night, when you'll sleep, you'll forget all these things that went on during the day. You'll dream. You don't remember during night when you are dreaming that I have got my house, I have got my wife, I have got so many responsibilities. You forget everything. So it is dream. Devotee, it is true or is not true? Is it true? I mean, is this life, he's saying, is this life true or not true? Prabhupada, no, where is true? You forget at night. Do you remember when you sleep that you have got your wife and you are sleeping in bed? You have gone some 3,000 miles away and seeing something else. Do you remember that you have got a place to reside? Devotee, no. Prabhupada, so this is dream at night and night dream. What you saw at night, that is now dream. So both of them, dream. You are simply visitor. That's all. You are seeing this dream and that dream. You are you are fact, but what you are seeing, that is dream. In other words, he's saying during the day you see so many things, but when you go to sleep at night, you forget them. And during the night you see so many things, when you wake up, you forget them. So, therefore, there's the daydream and the night dream. They're both dreams, right? A devotee. But I have the impression that this is true and my dream is not true. What is the difference? Prabhupada, no. Everything is untrue. Everything is not true. How it is true? If it is true, why you forget at night? Why you forget? If it is true, do you remember at night? Devotee, no, I don't remember. Prabhupada, then how is it true? As you don't remember the dreams which you saw last night, that therefore we say dream. Similarly, this thing, because you forget at night, this is also a dream. In other words, whatever you see during the day, it's also a dream. This is, Prabhupada, this is daydream, that is night dream, that's all. Devotee, daydream and night dream. And the night dream, then you perceive that as being real. Prabhupada, what do you mean? Devotee, when you dream at night, then you think that is real. Prabhupada, yes, that is real. You cry. It is a dream, but you are crying. There is a tiger. Where is tiger? But you are seeing it as fact, the tiger. I am being killed by a tiger. But where is the tiger? In dream, you are embracing some beautiful girl. Where is that beautiful girl? But actually, this is happening. And then devotee, is it happening? Prabhupada, it is happening because there is a discharge of semina, night pollution. But where is that girl? Is it not dream? So similarly, this is also a dream. You are having the effect of truthfulness, but it is a dream, maya. Therefore, it is called maya sukhaya. The same thing that at night you are dreaming, you are embracing nice, beautiful girl, as there is no such thing. Similarly, in the daytime also, whatever advancement you are making, this is also like that. Maya Sukhaya. We are happy, we are dreaming. This process will make me happy. This process will make me happy. But the whole process is dreaming only. You are taking this daydream as reality because the duration is long at night when the dream... the duration of the dream is maybe only half an hour, and this is for, and in the daytime it's for 12 hours or more than that. That is the difference. It is a 12 hours dream, and that is half an hour dream. But actually, both of them are dream, and because it is 12 hours dream, you are taking it as if it is real. That is called illusion. Wow. Devotee, illusion? Prabhupada, yes, we are making distinction between animal and ourself, but we are forgetting the animal also will die and I will also die. So where is my advancement? Will you remain? You will also die. So where is your advancement upon animals? That is stated in Shastra. Ahara nidra bhaya maitunam cha samanam etat pasubir naranam. Business. Eating, sleeping, sex life, and defending. This is also animals' business. And you are also doing the same. How you are distinct from animal. You'll die, the animal will die. But if you say, I'll die after 100 years, and this ant will die after 1 hour, that does not mean that you are in reality. It is a question of time. Just like this huge universe, it will all be destroyed. As your body will be destroyed, this will be destroyed. Annihilation, dissolution, nature's way, everything will be dissolved. So therefore it is a dream. It is a long duration, that's all. Something else. But the advantage is that even in this dream, you can realize the reality or God. That is the advantage. So if you don't take advantage of this dream, then you are missing. Devotee. So I am half asleep? Prabhupada, yes. Therefore Vedas say, Utistata. Get up, get up, get up. Jagrata. Become awakened. Prapyavaram nibodhata. Now you have got the opportunity. Utilize it. This is Vedic injunction. Utistata jagrita praptyavaram nibodhata. This is Vedic. Tamasi ma jyotirgama. In other words, leave the ignorance and go to the light of knowledge. These are Vedic injunctions. So we are preaching the same thing, that reality is here. Krishna. Don't remain in this darkness. Come to this consciousness. That is our preaching. Tamasima jyotirgama. Experience, just like during the day one experiences the sunshine, the bright day, and then the nighttime, the gloomy day. So when you are in darkness, we must have to admit there is light, because darkness means absence of light. So as we are in the darkness of this material existence, there must be something or a life of light. That is spiritual world. That is reality. Aham brahmasmi. Oh, I don't belong to this darkness atmosphere. I belong to the light atmosphere. That is self-realization. Aham brahmasmi. I am pure spirit soul. Brahma bhuta prasanatma nasochiti nakangsati samak sarve sabhute sumad bhaktim labhate param. Bhagavad Gita 18, chapter 54th verse. This Brahma bhuta stage, which is also explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam 4th canto 30th chapter 20th verse. Just like this is a chakra, I am walking on this wheel, but I am thinking I am advancing. In other words, I'm being driven in a car, but I am thinking I am advancing. What is this advancement? It is already there, just like they are advancing in science, and they must remain here. They are trying for so many years to go to the moon planet, and no result. Laughs. The same thing. Now we are going to the moon planet, but coming again. That's all. So samsara chakra, going in, just moving back and forth in the cycle of birth and death. Just like the dog. The dog is sometimes barking. Gata, gata, gata. The dog says, come on. Immediately come. He thinks that I have got freedom. Let me jump over. You see? So we are thinking like that. We are under Maya's clutches. Come on, here. Prakriti kriyamana ni gunai karma ni sarvasaha. Bhagavad Gita 3:27. He is under the reins of Prakriti. He cannot go anywhere, but yet he thinks he's independent. Devotee. Simultaneously in a dream and not in a dream. So when is there reality? Prabhupada, that is reality when you are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is reality. Devotee. But I also see all this. What? Prabhupada says, what? That is another thing. On the path of reality, you come, devotee, on the path. Prabhupada, yes, it is a process. When the process is complete, then you'll come to the reality. But that is the process. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila 20th chapter, 12th verse. We cannot distinguish how reality and non-reality because the heart is unclean. So we have to cleanse. And then we come to the reality. Swarup Damodar Maharaj. For that matter, Srila Prabhupada, when one comes to that stage, there is no difference between animate and inanimate. Prabhupada, highest stage, Swarup Damodar, yes. Prabhupada, highest stage, everything animate. Swarup Damodar, yes. So a stone, even a stone has soul? Prabhupada, oh yes, just like this tree. You cut, it does not protest. The consciousness is not developed, but it has got life. You scientists, you do not believe that stone has also life. Swarup Damodar, no, they say it's just matter. Prabhupada, Swarup Damodar, they say there's no life there. Prabhupada, no, there is life. Devotee, every stone has life? Prabhupada, yes. No, dead stone has no life. But there are many mountains. They are increasing. You know, at Benares there is a stone, Tila Bandeshwara. Swarup Damodar, I don't know. Prabhupada, yes, that increases. If you go see today, and go 10 years after, you'll see. Take the measurement, it has increased. Swarup Damodar. But they will say that because of the position of the dust particles, the size will increase, even a small bit, even a small amount. Prabhupada, no, it is clean. There is no dust. It is being washed even. Its name is Tila Bandeshwara. So there is no uncleanliness. Still, the body increases. There is still Tila Bandeshwara. There is a temple of Tila Bandeshwara. People go to see it. Swarup Damodar. But consciousness is covered there. Prabhupada. Covered, yes. Dullness means consciousness is covered. You put a child in open... In other words, Prabhupada is saying there are some rocks that increase or decrease in size. And those rocks are actually living beings. Anything that increases or decreases is a living thing. It can be a mountain or just a rock. Now, there are some rocks that hardly increase or decrease. So then you could say there's no soul in there. But a rock that increases or decreases, it's a living thing, just like a plant that increases or decreases. So there are some rocks like that. Dullness means consciousness is covered. You put a child in open air, he'll not feel much cold. You see, practically. He'll not feel because consciousness is not developed. Animals, they will not feel cold. But we feel cold. Yeah, there are kids that can play in the cold for a long time, because they're having fun. And they don't have that highly sensitive consciousness. But we get cold right away. Devotee. But Prabhupada, there are still such things as dead matter. Prabhupada, not dead matter. The soul is there. Devotee. Suppose something like this shoe that I'm wearing. Prabhupada. It is now dead matter. But when you go, the higher understanding is a composition of atoms. So we learn from Vedic Shastra that within the atom there is life. Andantarasta paramanu chayantarastam govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Ramasamhita 5.35. There is there. If within the atom there is life, then what to speak of anything else? Devotee. Is that Jivatma? Prabhupada. No. Govinda is there. Krishna is there. When Krishna is there, then Krishna is there with everything. Krishna cannot be alone. Devotee. This is the real science, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, yes. Vijnana. Yad vijnana saman vitam. Jnanam paramaguyam me. Yad vijnana saman vitam. My knowledge is very confidential and is full of science. This is a statement by Krishna. Jnanam paramaguyam me yad vijnana samanvitam. And in the Bhagavad Gita it is also said, knowing this knowledge, yajgatva nehabuyo nyaj gatavyam avasisyate, you'll be free of all material complexities. Yajgatva nehabuyo nyaj. In the Vedas it is said, kasmin tu bhagavo vigate sarvam idam vigatam bhavati. So this is the way. Try to understand Krishna and everything will be known. Guyam pavitram paramam idam. Bhagavad Gita, Raja Vidya, the knowledge, the king of knowledge. Devotee. Without your mercy, Prabhupada, there's no way out of the dream of material life. Prabhupada. Krishna's mercy, yes. Swarup Damodar Maharaj. Water is tasteless, but Krishna says, I am the taste in water. Science says water is tasteless. No taste in water. Prabhupada. Science says? Swarup Damodar, yes. Prabhupada. But have you tasted that tasteless water? Everybody laughs. Devotee. If it is so tasteless, why is it quenching? Devotee. If someone gives you a glass of water and you drink it, you immediately know what it is. Swarup Damodar. They'll say the taste of water depends on the amount of chemicals contained in the water. Prabhupada. That's all right. So that is Krishna. That is Krishna. the tastefulness of water is Krishna, not the water. Devotee, people have such a clouded idea of what is God, Srila Prabhupada. When you explain it, it is very real. Devotee, Prabhupada, the other day you mentioned that during the eating activities, during sex activity, there's increase of breathing. Prabhupada, yes. Good, devotee. Now, when we do the kirtan, there's much increase of breathing. So what is the difference? Prabhupada, the difference is why your child is less conscious than yourself. Okay, so there was a break, something was missing. And devotee, because he's not developed. Prabhupada, he's also a living entity. Why he's foolish and why you are intelligent? What is the answer? Devotee, because the consciousness is more developed. Prabhupada, then develop. So you develop your consciousness, then you will understand Krishna. Devotee, so I must be more fortunate than the other living entities in my body. Prabhupada, what are you talking about? Devotee, the other living entities. Prabhupada, yes, therefore it is called human life is so valuable. You are not cats and dogs. You have got the opportunity to understand God, Krishna. Devotee, only by your mercy, Srila Prabhupada. It's by your mercy. Haribol. Okay, so this is a normal morning walk, and they're talking about the whole idea that people say this is good, this is bad, but the good and bad is relative to material things. Therefore, they're both bad because they both will keep us in the material world. The good karma or the bad karma will both keep us in the material world. The good experience or the bad experience, it will keep us in the material world as long as Krishna is lacking. We bring Krishna into the equation and everything becomes transcendental. That's something we should understand. So we should never be disheartened by good results or bad results. Because if we continue in devotional service, chanting our rounds, coming to classes, engaging in service, then we are in a transcendental position. It's when we're not in a transcendental position that we perceive this duality of good and bad. But the devotee is not affected by the good and bad things in the material world because his one determination is to always be engaged in devotional service. Then you become free of the dualities of material life. What time is it now? Okay, we'll stop right there. Are there any questions? January 9th, 1974 in Los Angeles. It was a morning walk. This is a morning walk. They're talking about science and so, but it's not part of the book, Life Comes from Life. So Prabhupada was going on these morning walks on the beach, Venice Beach in Los Angeles, which is not too far away from the temple. And you see they were having these very profound discussions. So January 9, 1974, morning walk. Any other questions?
So Krishna appears in every form of life.
Yes.
And is it to
every form?
Every form.
It can be a human being, it can be a rock.
So and the intent is to reclaim, because I mean only in human life.
Oh, Krishna is appearing in every species.
Every species.
Yeah.
And is it to?
Because they're his children. Right. So he'll appear sometimes as a pig, or like Varaha. Sometimes he'll appear as Matsya, a fish, and not only that, he'll appear in every species. Because to help all the jivas make advancement, some kind of advancement spiritually.
But isn't it clear that at least according to karma principle that you said, like all other living entities only burn their karma. It means like there is a natural.
Burn their karma.
So they're not. I mean, they start with the full bag of karma. Let's say we fall down. We fall down to an ant or something. Then we're not necessarily accruing additional karma, but we're just living through the karma of that life, and then again elevating to the point again we bubble to the top of the human life. So that means like in those other species, we do not have any choice. There is no free will. So we're just being, by the instincts that the Lord gives, then it just operates. So when you say like the Lord appears in those other forms, is it because He's also in the heart of those living entities? That's how He appears? Or is He appearing as a form, like just like Lord Krishna, Varaha, and so on? I mean, in case of Varaha avatar and so on, there is actually a devotee who needed help, right? And
Well, okay, so the jiva that's stuck in the body of a microbe needs help, doesn't it? So Krishna will appear even in the microbe world to help those jivas. Now, obviously, there are some incomprehensible things because we're talking about the unlimited power of the Lord. If He wants to appear as a microbe, He can do it, right? And as a microbe, he can communicate with other microbes to help them come back to Godhead. So see, that's the thing. We are all the jivas are emanations from Krishna. And our problem is by developing the material conception of life, we want to be independent. But actually, all of us are dependent on Krishna. We cannot stop that dependence because everything is under His control. So as long as we feel that we're independent, just like I said, to develop this material conception of life, they purposely teach in schools that God, you can believe in God if you want, but the reality is science, rationality, and logic. And if you believe in God, that's a sentimental, emotional thing. So they make it look like it's not equal to science and logic and reasoning. And then secondly, they convince you that when you die, that's it, it's all over. Therefore, you only have this one life, so you should use it to the maximum for sense gratification. Live life to the fullest, that's what they mean. Nice house, nice car, this thing, that thing, all these different things, and you can see that when these rich people, right? Rich people have yachts that are worth hundreds of, they're saying that Putin has a $1 billion property. And he's got a yacht. Before he started the Ukrainian the war in Ukraine, he pulled his yacht out from a shipyard in Germany where it was being repaired, right? But he pulled it out before they finished the repairs. Why? Because he didn't want his yacht to be seized. Now, but yet, this very rich Jewish Russian guy called Abramovich, who lives in London, but he still is a very, very rich guy, and he works with Putin, right? Because a lot of his assets are in Russia. But he had his yacht seized by the British government. So all the oligarchs, their yachts are being now see, these people like Bezos, they have their own jets, they have their own yachts, they have their multiple houses. Sometimes they have 5, 6, 10 houses, very expensive properties. They need to have a penthouse in downtown Manhattan. They need to have something in the Caribbean. They need to have something in Los Angeles. They got houses all over the place. They have yachts. They have this is all the material conception of life, right? And so people try and do it on their level. So they buy a house, they buy a boat, so they can go in Sammamish Lake or in Lake Washington or out in the ocean. You know, you see all those all those smaller boats, right? So there are small boats, there's middle-sized boats, and then there's gigantic yachts, right? So we see that the material conception of life is being experienced on different levels, but it's the same conception: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, right? And it's all for nothing, because everything's going to be destroyed. The yacht will be destroyed, the apartments will be destroyed, the body will be destroyed, right? In other words, their disease is they refuse to accept that they have an eternal soul. They want to have an eternal body, but that's not possible. But they're working to make the body eternal, right? So this material conception of life is very dangerous, and it's being taught actively in the schools, in the books, on the internet, everywhere. And it's subtle, because when you hear about the size of Jeff Bezos now has the biggest yacht in the world, owned by one man. Jim Brady, he's got a big yacht also. You see, so this is the material conception of life. You know, size matters. You know, this guy's yacht is bigger than the other guy's yacht. So you know, and what's going on in the yacht? They're drinking champagne. They have a basketball court in the yacht. They have everything, right? So unless we deconstruct completely the material conception of life, we will go on life after life after life. And now how do you deconstruct it? You deconstruct it, and then by developing the transcendental conception of life, right? So the transcendental conception of life, good and bad, they're both bad. Completely opposite of the material conception of life. Some things are good, some things are bad. But for a devotee, good and bad are both bad, because it takes your mind away from Krishna. Therefore, the devotee escapes the duality of good and bad by being always steady in devotional service. Therefore, there's no more good and bad, it's transcendental. All right, we'll talk some more about this. It's a big subject. You see, there's two big tickets. Number one, the material conception of life. Number two, the laws of nature. You have to learn these two things in order to readjust our lives to transcendental bliss. Haribol. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, as you have explained about daydream and night dream, so yeah, in the morning walk. So daydream, what I understood is when one is engaged in material activities during the day, that is daydream. And if one is engaged in devotional service, that becomes reality.
Yes. Why? Because it's eternal.
Eternal.
You never lose the benefit of devotional service. It always stays with you.
Okay.
Eternally.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj. And Maharaj, there is one online question, if you say I can take.
Yeah.
Okay. So question is...
Somebody asking?
Yes, Maharaj, online.
Online.
So can how is Prabhupada's explanation of illusion?
Of what?
How is Prabhupada's explanation of illusion?
Yes.
Is different than Mayavad philosophy of illusion?
Okay, very good question. That's a very, very good question. The Mayavadis say that the material world is an illusion. They say that Vaikuntha and Goloka is an illusion. The devotees say that the material world is real, but it's temporary. But the illusion is the material conception of life. That's the illusion. That I can enjoy, while I have this body, I should enjoy sense gratification and so forth. That's the illusion. It's not the material world. It's the idea that I can enjoy matter independent of Krishna and dominate it. That is the illusion. Basically, we're all thieves. We're stealing something that belongs to someone else. Everything belongs to Krishna. So everything should be used in Krishna's service. As soon as we use it selfishly, we're a thief. And because we're a thief, we get karma. You want to escape karma? Don't use anything for your selfish purposes. Simply use everything in the service of Krishna. Simply offer everything in the service of Krishna. And be satisfied with whatever Krishna gives you. This is like completely opposite than the capitalist idea. Right? Capitalist idea is you have a right to possess things. It's yours. It's protected by the law. You can, do whatever you want in your house as long as you don't try and kill anybody. It's all based on selfishness. Whereas Krishna consciousness is based on selflessness. We're more interested about Krishna's pleasure, and our pleasure is to see that Krishna is pleased, and the devotees are pleased, and the people are pleased. So when a certain person comes to the food truck and gets that plate of hot food, right, they're pleased. That makes us happy, because we're giving them something that's not just food, it's actually prasadam. So it can bring them closer to Krishna. See? So there's a difference between selfish life and selfless life. Okay. Haribol. Jai.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Who is going to sing? Is Mataji going to sing the Guru Puja? Welcome back.
Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakti Satma.
Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakti Sadma.
Bandhamo ye savadhana mate.
Bandhamo ye savadhana mate.
Jahara prasade bhar e bhavatoriya ja. Jahara
prasade bhai e bhavatoriya jai.
Krishna prapti ho jaha hoite.
Krishna prapti hoya hoite.
Guru mukha padma vakya chitte koriya kya.
Chitte Koriya Bhagya
Arana Kori ho mane asha
Arana Koriya Mane Asha
Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Bhutamagati
Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttamagati
जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्वा आशा
Ye prasade pure sarva asa
चक्षुदान दे लो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से
चक्षुदान दिला जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से
चक्षुदान दे लो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से
चक्षुदान दिला जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से
दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता
दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो
प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते
प्रेम भक्ति चाह होते अविद्या विनाश जाते
प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते
प्रेम भक्ति चाह होते अविद्या विनाश जाते
वेद गाय जहर चरितो
वेद गाय जनर चरितो
वेद गाय जहर चरितो
वेद गाय जनर चरितो
श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु
श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधन जनर बंधु
श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु
श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधन जनर बंधु
लोकेनाथ लोकेर जीवाना
वेद गाय जनर
लोकेनाथ लोकेर जीवाना
लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना
हा हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोर पाद जय
महाप्रभु कोर दया देह मोरी बदचय
हा हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोर पाद जय
आहा प्रभु कोर दया देह मोरे पदचय
हा हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोर पाद छाया आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोर पाद छाया ये विजय सुसुख त्रिभुवाना विजय सुसुख त्रिभुवाना श्रील प्रभुपाद पतित पवाना प्रभुपाद पतित पवाना जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा
प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नितिनामिने विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी Saraswati Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya-desha-tarini. Namaste
Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya-desha-tarini.
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Vishnupad Paramahansa Pararachikachasta Saraswati Shishi Shimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shri Mayapura Dham ki jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Tulasi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Ganga Maya ki jai. Jamuna Maya ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Book Distribution ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Guranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana ki jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Guruvani Pachak Visesa Sunyavadi Paskatya Desatani Nama Om Jai. Thus, let us feed our spiritual master, the only way by which we can attain the pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is a perfection and fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendence. He is my Lord, birthday. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master, the ocean of mercy, friend of the poor and Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread throughout all the three worlds. We take shelter of your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada, Patita Pavan ki jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti. Namaste Saraswati Devi.